All right, welcome to another video from the chart reader. So today we are going to look at the weed industry. It's been a week since I made the last video. Today I'm actually going to talk about how I traded this. So I made a move because last week was really bullish. I'll tell you exactly what I did. I don't do it too often because, again, I'm not here to tell you how I move money or stuff like that. But there were a lot of views on last week's video, so I'll at least let you know what I did with my money. From there, I'm also going to reference the Dow Jones. So look, these are very basic companies, all right? They're literally growing seeds from the ground, taking them to storefronts. It just so happens you can smoke them and you get high from them, right? But it's really no different than a bank or whatever, right? Instead of bricks of gold in a building, it's bags of flour, right? So these are Dow Jones pretty basic companies, and you'll see a good little mirror with the Dow Jones. But again, before we get into the details, let's talk about what we're going to do, right? Same thing we do every day, right? We're going to talk about the daily and the weekly to see what's setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do manually draw. And then we have the MACD, RSI, and if you haven't seen any of the newer videos, I've added volume here, okay? So we made the video on the 1st, okay? And the 1st was a big day because look, the day before we broke 2 lines and then we got the monster confirmation we want on a good 2-line break, okay? Again, I want good confirmation when 1 happens. I need good when 2 lines, and that's what this is, right? There's no silly wicks on top or bottom. I mean, it was pretty much a full day of buying. So this alert, I actually had more than an alert. I had a stop buy, okay? Most people talk about stop sells, right? Stop losses. I had a stop buy, which basically said, look, most people do a limit buy, which says, hey, I'm willing to pay up to this number, right? If I had a 419 limit, I would want it at 418, 417, 416. I would not go a penny higher than 419. 419.2, I'm not filling. With my stop buy, I did not want to buy this thing until it hit 419 because in my mind, based on yesterday, if we can get over the peak, we're gonna fly, okay? And look, we started down here, you know, some people might have gotten a little, I didn't care about any of this. Once this hit, I had an automatic buy. I was not even in front of my computer when it happened. And then we rode that bad boy up. It was great, okay? Monday opened. I didn't sell anything over the weekend, I'll be honest with you, because look, we'd broken the 200. It was a good candle up. There was no like crazy wick. I was okay holding over the weekend. I was a little worried because I think there was a good amount of like safe act stuff, right? So, you know, a lot of bad things could have happened over the weekend and tanked it, right? But I did hold. The one thing I did do was just get myself ready that if a 50% candle happened, I'm out. And what I actually did was I put a sell right under that, okay? So I put a limit sell under the 200. Look, I've talked about healthy drops, right? And in my head, if we got to the 200, we'd hold 50% candle. I've talked about 50% candle. And look, it would be a natural bounce point, right? So I put a stop buy here. We end the day up here. I'm happy. I've made a decent profit. That's almost a 10% swing in a single day. That's beautiful, okay? Once I've ended here, I've now put a stop loss here, okay? I don't know the exact number, but if the 200 is at 430, I probably put my stop sell at around 423. Okay, I went a little lower than 425, which is just, you know, 25 cents is a human number, right? So I went a little lower than 25. It never happened on Monday, okay? So this is not a good day, right? Obviously, I want good confirmation from breaking the 200, but I never sold, okay? Because again, my stop was here. But since I saw this doji, okay, I actually moved my stop sell up to here. Okay, so one more time, I did a stop buy right here because we broke 2 lines and got good confirmation. I was ready to enter if this line crossed. It just, I made that decision. And look, I was ready to probably go down till here and take this little bit of a loss, right? Instead, knock on wood, we went up. That's great, right? And just roughly speaking, this to down here looks like it would have been well below 10%. So my risk reward was at least all right there. And then again, look, we had good MACD, good RSI. I was bullish. Okay, so now we've gone up here. Before Monday happens, I put my stop loss here. Because again, if Monday came to like right here, I would be okay. Obviously, I'd be sad, but like, you know, it's a healthy drop. Now that this finished, I moved my stop loss from here to here. The lowest I was going to lose was literally the top of this candle at 5.8. So at 458, I had my sell. If it went below that, I was out. Because again, I didn't like this doji. And it was either going to keep flying, right? I want good confirmation. Show me we've broken the 200. Show me we're over them all. And show me we're just going to like fly, right? It was either going to go and it was going to be happy. Or, you know what? I'm going to get out right here. I'd bank about 10% and go from there. And then you see what happened the next day, right? So that's how I traded this, okay? 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Hopefully that made sense. Feel free to ask me any questions on that in the comments if you want. Just looking at this technically, look, I said some of it already, right? We broke the 200 here, but you know the 200 is the very last line, okay? I need good confirmation to sincerely believe we've broken this. And this is not it, right? You can't have a doji. This is a real hard doji, right? I don't even want something like this when there's even wicks because someone can make silly arguments, right? I want a good, nice, full candle, and that's not what this was. After that, and I've always said it, the day after the doji tends to tell you the truth, right? We lose not only the 200, but we lost the 8 as well. Oh, I got post-market movement. Let me just move this to the regular data only. Okay, perfect. That didn't change any of the thing. And then again, we lost these two. And then again, we gapped down this morning from the 20 and work our way down back to this cluster. Look, it's not looking great right now. It must bounce on this right here. What number is this? It's 360. It cannot go lower than 360. Otherwise, there's a real good chance to believe that we're coming back down to 3, if not 270, like you just saw right there, right? That's not a great RSI. It looks like it might be trying to curve, right? It at least didn't keep crushing down. That's going to be a real big number, right? And I'll tell you, if it bounces here, I will not enter until we get back over the 8, right? My rule number 1 is get over the 8. You know that, right? So not looking great here. The last thing I do want to show, so I'm going to zoom out real quick. Look, this is the daily on TLRY, and it's real safe to say this is the uptrend, right? And real quick, what I'm going to do is flash the DJ30, the Dow Jones Industrial, okay? Look, from here to here up, and then we're starting to go down, right? So, again, I said it in the beginning, TLRY, all these little weed stocks, I don't want to call them little weed stocks, that was a little offensive actually, but look, these are all just basic companies, right? They're plants in the ground and nothing more than that, right? So you got to believe they're going to follow the Dow Jones, and with the Dow Jones starting to show the first signs of scary, we haven't been under the 20 in a long time, right? You got to believe that everything within the realm is gonna start getting worrisome too. So again, be careful. Hopefully you understood my stop buy to get in. I wanted to get in once we cross this. My stop sell under the 200, right? Because I was ready for a healthy bounce on Monday. After Monday ends up here, my stop sell moves up here, right? Because if this hits, that means we're gapping down or we're going down, and I'm not trying to give up this 200 candle, right? So hopefully that trading strategy I gave made sense. And then real quick, just talking about the volume. Look, I've said it. If you can get a lot of volume over, again, the last 50 days, we were trading around right here, 24 million. We jumped up to 60. That's more than double, right? That's beautiful. And the next day, we did the same thing. Hell yeah, but bad doji, right? And again, 80%'s up here. I'm disregarding this because of the doji, right? So I say it often, 80% up here, 20% down here. And I don't care that we've added an extra one. That doesn't shift the numbers. All the work happens up here. We just use this when needed, right? So Spent a little extra time on Tilray. I'm assuming it's going to carry over. Tilray was the only wheat stock I had my money in, actually. CRON, I almost did, but I went with Tilray. I don't have a real good reason why, but yeah, again, I don't like telling you how I make my money or how I trade them before it happens. I just think there was enough viewers last time to where at least I'd love to share what I can share, right? Look, ACB is not as good for sure, right? Look, when we made the video, it was about getting over that 100, I'm sure, right? I would not get into this 3-line cluster. Again, looking at Tilray, just last time I jumped back, this has a nice gap to here, right? It's not like we're sitting in a 3-day cluster, right? On ACB, little bit tighter than I want, right? So on, which day was this? This was the 2nd. So on this day, we break this. On this day, obviously, we still hadn't gotten over the 20. And then if you're going to break all these lines on one day, you know I need good confirmation. Definitely don't see that on Monday. It's actually worse than it was on Tilray, right? Because Tilray at least closed up here. This could have fooled some people for sure because, hey, at least we didn't lose the 20. Very bad day right there on Tuesday. And obviously, hey, today was not that good either, right? But a lot of it just really came here. And once you go out of the cluster, it's real bad. And in general, I kind of say it, right? I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but I don't like trading in clusters. Let's either get out of the cluster and wait, or find something that's just a little bit more spaced out with the moving averages. Because the way it should work is you break this, then go to this, then go to this, then go to this, then go to this, right? Good spacing does help with that. So again, not a good MACD. It looks like we've actually just slipped. Not a great RSI. Still see that same kind of curve that we saw with Tilray though. So hey, maybe Tilray will bounce on that 2-line cluster and then just kind of carry the rest. And then again, volume just been no bueno. Not that bad actually, right? So last week closed well. We were hoping that it would go up. And look, this is kind of a normal pattern, right? You break, you come down, hopefully you break up. Clearly not the case here, right? So we would have wanted confirmation, not the way we want to be a little more than halfway through the week, right? So ACB definitely not looking good. OGI, one of the newer ones on the list. Again, same basic thing. And I'll be honest, I remember considering getting into this one, right? And it really would have been the same play. I would have put my stop buy right here. I would have gotten in and gone up. You know, the fact that this was here, I probably would have put my stop sell roughly right there. Again, a little under the 200 versus all the way down here with the 50% candle, right? I'm going to put more emphasis on that 200. It loses the 200 and then gets much worse from there, right? But again, I'll try to put some stop buy and stop sell strategy videos soon. I think that would be a real good to do. But with technical analysis, especially if you're not in front of your computer all the time, the stop buy and stop sells really are key, right? But again, OGI, I actually really did consider putting my money into that instead of Tilray. Sincerely, I know Tilray a little better, so I was just more comfortable trading it. But yeah, this had that good gap that we wanted. There still would have been a good place to make a profit, put a good little stop loss, and you know, you would have been okay, right? So this one was a consideration, actually. Where are we looking at? You know, not the best of weeklies, right? So I'm sure a little bit of why I probably, oops, so not even close to Tilray. I don't even know what I typed in. Yeah, Tilray had just a little bit better of a weekly. There were more over the 8s than OGI as well. So I would give it a little bit of that. But yeah, this one actually wasn't that bad either. So yeah, honestly, OGI, I picked Tilray over OGI, just more of a preference thing, right? But look, what happened? Last week, monster candle. We take these two and we come real close to the 50, right? Obviously, I'm expecting closing up here and around here, not this bad boy right now, right? So a lot of it just really marries with the fail of the 200 back in the cluster. Cannot lose this line, right? Just like we had, Tilray had a good bounce line, ACB did not, but if it could bounce off 97 cents, hopefully we'll go back to the top of the cluster. If it loses 97 cents, we're coming down to whatever this number is right here, to 87. That's a pretty big fall right there. You do not want to be sitting in that. Let me see. Does that put you at all-time lows? No, it doesn't, but that's a nasty drop right there. You don't want to be sitting in. Yeah, for sure. Be careful here. I'll put one more line. I will actually put two more lines. I'll put one right there. and then one right there. This one would be real bad to lose, especially because from there, you're just going to gap down. It gaps up hard right there. If you lose this, you're gapping down and making that difference. So OGI, be careful. Really, as it sits, it looks like there's almost a 50% loss coming if we lose the 50, right? So hopefully we bounce right here. I'm not making a support line because, again, that 50 right there is going to be that line. Be careful with OGI here. All right, MSOS. Again, I actually almost considered this one as well. Again, I just like TLRY a little bit better. But this one would have been a little easier to not fool out, right? So again, real good on the first one we made the last video. I would have put my stop buy right here. I want to just make sure we're over this day. Once it gets over, we would have come up. Again, doji, right? Real uncertain. I would have put my stop sell right there. And then hopefully I would have avoided, not hopefully, I would have avoided this big tank just like the TLRY play, right? But again, a couple of things to say, right? This one actually gets over the 8 right here, kind of goes horizontal with it. Once it crosses that line, it actually becomes a much better place to buy, in all honesty, right? Nonetheless, I made my video on the first. I did make the line right there. This fail of the 200 and the slap down, and we've talked about it so many times. 200 break is amazing. 200 slap down can be real devastating. We've seen it in a few different places, right? So MSOS, just like OGI, you gotta bounce on this 50. You have to. You cannot fall out of the cluster, right? Hopefully we bounce and then go back up and make another attempt at the 200. I'll be honest, so the fact that we've gone through this many tickers and nothing's been looking good, it's a little worrisome to say the least, right? That's a horrible weekly. We've already given up almost 4 candles in 1 week, right? And we're only halfway. So MSOS, real tough, actually, real tough. CGC, I mean, look, I like it when charts look the same, right? They all had this run up. They're all having this run down. This one is a little scary, though, because I'm going to go to TLRY real quick. Whoopsies. I'm not trying to add an indicator. I'm trying to go to TLRY. TLRY, I need you to not lose this red and blue cluster. If it loses it, again, it's coming down this way. Oh, I didn't even make any lines. I'm glad I accidentally came back. I'll probably take that, I think. Yeah, I'll take that one. 280 seems realistic if we lose this cluster right here, okay? Maybe this thing right here will save it. I'll put this one right there too, 319. But my big hope was, hey, bounce from here. What we just saw, right, was, hey, it looks like it might not be as good a support as you think, because CGC, I mean, again, you can see it. Looks like we already lost the 50, yeah, because the 50 was at 25 cents. We closed at 24 cents up in green. And then the 100 in blue is 23. So literally, if this closes 2 cents lower, we're going to lose the cluster that we're hoping TLRY catches on, right? And generally, they all do the same thing. So this does have a lot of lines. I'm going to go ahead and let's just make some new lines, drawings. Let's delete all 8. All right, let's make a couple new lines. Again, this one's obviously huge. I'll take that line right there. And then I'll take that line right there. Really, I'm just going to take, I'll go down there. So I took the top of this guy and then pretty much the bottom of that guy. If we lose 325, again, sorry, yeah, 324, 323, right? That's what we just said it was, sorry. Yeah, the 100. If we lose 323, there's a real good chance it comes down to 23, right? That's horrible. You don't want to lose that dollar right there. And again, it has me a lot worried about TLRY, because if this one can't do it, there's a pretty good chance TLRY won't either. So again, devastating weeklies, man. I do not like seeing this. These were real nice over the 8 weeklies and then just a hard slam down, right? So I'm not going to repeat the same thing over and over. Sandal, coming into Sandal. So I did not, okay, I lied. I did have another play. I had a Sandal play. I got in on this 280 alert. So I was wrong earlier. Why though? So look, this 280 alert was actually a little older, right? We've been tracking it for a good while. And it didn't break here. Nothing happens here. Tries to do it again. Nothing happens here. So this one I did make an entry on. So this one was before the first, right? Oh, this was on the first. So my other ones, my TLRY entry, I got in on the second. my sandal entry was on the first at the break of this alert. And then I did the exact same step up with my stops. Here's the one difference though, right? So I enter here, we close here. I put my stop loss, my stop sell. Oh man, I wish I had I wish I practiced this. I probably used this guy if I had to guess as my stop sell. So I probably put it around 723. So my buy was at 280, maybe 281 or 282, because I remember I got the alert and I ran from my computer. So yeah, I know I got in a couple cents after 280. I'm pretty sure I put my sell here because I did not get stopped out the next day. So once this happened, the next day goes up, we close here. I now move my stop sell here to 50% candle. We then have our Monday, and then I move my stop sell to the bottom of this guy because I didn't want to lose this wick, and then they go out. So TLRY and Sandal were my buys. TLRY I bought after the last video though. So that was the difference. And again, this Sandal alert, I remember it just being such a long one that I jumped on it. So, but yeah, again, I am out of all the weed plays right now. Yeah, for sure. Damn, I forgot about Sandal. I'll be honest. Okay, cool. Again, ugly weekly. The one thing I'll say though, this is a golden cross, right? But I'm gonna play this a little bit more. Hopefully in a couple days it happens, because again, though it might be a golden cross, we might just see nothing more than a little bit of a horizontal, right? So if this kept uptrending, I would have been a lot more excited about this golden cross. Right now, I'm seeing a loss of last week's candle and am pretty disappointed actually. So yeah, hey, maybe Sandal will bounce right here and go up, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and disregard that golden cross right there. If it was a green candle up, we'd be a lot happier for sure, for sure. CRON, CRON. Okay, look, again, not this one's sad, right? This one was able to actually give a good confirmation that it broke all the lines. You get the doji on Monday, which again is not good. But again, that wasn't supposed to be the confirmation, right? From there, it just really followed with the rest, which is horrible. And what I hate especially is we didn't bounce on the 200. Again, with my TLRY stop loss, the goal in general, I'm not going to go back to TLRY, I don't need to. Once you break a line, the assumption is you can then use the line as the support, right? Because once you break a resistance, it should become support. That's you know, support and resistance strategy 101 right there, right? This thing definitely just destroys, oh my gosh, it just plows right through it, right? So definitely was not a good capture of the 200. Definitely broke it really well, but it just didn't capture it as well as you'd want. So hopefully that makes sense. And then look, just in general, we're definitely in a downtrend, right? So you can't expect these magical, you know, uptrend continuations, right? So just know the market you're in and everything you see. But yeah, this is really sad. What looks like about to be just trading above all the lines, starting to make our way back up here, just ends up not happening. And that's horrible, right? That's a sad feeling. And right now it's ugly, right? Because we are now well under this cluster. And the last thing we want to do is get spit out of the cluster real bad, right? So that's an ugly MACD. That's an ugly RSI. Not as violent, right? I'm glad it didn't just keep going down like that. But yeah, I care more about the moving averages up here, obviously. So not looking good on CRON. Okay, green lane. I'll be honest with you. I actually got my alert. I don't remember. It might have been here actually, because I remember getting it on the 47. You know, I will be honest. I had a greedy moment and I really wanted to buy, but I waited to close on it and I just got lucky. If you really want to know the truth, human greed was really, really close when that 54 alert hit. And look, an alert is not always an automatic intention to buy, right? Sometimes it's nothing more than an alert. Hey, get ready, know this, right? And either wait for the end of the day to make your pounce or, literally jump in and act accordingly, right? But an alert is not always a immediate buy indicator. It is nothing more than an alert, right? And you go and you do your due diligence from there. But I will be very sincere. My alert hit, my little greedy antennas just popped. I saw a giant gap fill and I got excited, but I didn't make the move because I needed it to close over it. And honestly, I'm not going to say I got lucky. I'll just say that, hey, I've done this enough to not let the greed overtake, because it happens quickly. I'm telling you, it happens very, very quickly. But for real, alert hit just wasn't good enough. All of the days weren't looking, you know what I mean? It's never gotten over this line, and I didn't pull the trigger. But and then obviously I'm glad not, right? Because right now it looks like we are nowhere near coming back here, right? So real interesting RSI, but again, super tight, and 80% of the works here at this point we're under the 8 and not liking this bad boy, right? So prove me wrong, and trust me, I'll be real excited. And hey, the day I see a good candle break 54, I'll be real happy. But yeah, the greed monkey jumped in. I'm not going to look at the weekly here because honestly, all we care about is that 0.54. This is nowhere near a good long hold just yet. GRWG. Okay, so again, just like we saw, right, this one was doing really well. This one gets a nice little break of the 200, is able to actually bounce on the 200 right here and ride it up, right? That's exactly what we talked about a couple tickers ago. And then from here, we're starting to work our way down. I like this, right? I like seeing this. Obviously, I don't like where it's at here, and I'm for sure I would... Well, I'll be honest with you. I guess I would wait till tomorrow at this point, right? Especially if you've made some decent profits. Because look, the buy kind of happens right here in all honesty, right? So you should still be up. Have we gone lower than this? Oh, we've gone lower than that. I don't like that much. But look, this is the first day we've gone under the 8. Maybe the 20 will be a bounce point tomorrow morning. Honestly, I would probably put a sell limit right under it. Because, I mean, if we lose this, I don't want to go down here. Because it looks like the next line is... Yeah, that's a pretty big far away, actually. If you go from 630 to 550... I mean, you're losing a little bit more than 10% right there. I wouldn't want to lose that 10%. So maybe that could be a decent stop loss right there if you want to use 619. But yeah, I would be very much worried if there's no bounce on that 20 tomorrow morning. Again, look, this is a nice weekly, right? I like that we're over 3 lines, but I don't like what happened here, right? We break the 50 for the first time in a long time. You know I'm going to want good confirmation. That's definitely not what this is, right? So real disappointing right here, actually. And then this last stock was added because it's supposed to trail this one, right? So Hydro Farm trails Grow Generation. I'll be honest, I'm still getting a little familiar with both of these. Either way, what happens, just can't get over the 100, right? I think that more than anything. Looks like this line was nice too, right? Because it gave you the high point, right? But yeah, if we're going to break the 100, you know I need good confirmation, right? So yeah, this one's obviously not in a good place under all the moving averages. So one more time, the Dow Jones is starting to go down. If Dow Jones recovers, these might start to recover as well. From there, just again, let's get back over the 8. Otherwise, there's a lot that needs to happen before federalization really gets a little deeper and, still a downtrend market. But hopefully you made some decent profit in what's only been a week's time. So hope you're learning. And again, we'll do this video next week.